Hi everyone, and welcome to Tozan Eats. Today I'm going to show you the summer version of my favorite mountain drink, an iced mountain latte. To make an iced mountain latte, you'll need a few things. First and foremost, you need some coffee and something to brew your coffee in. And for a latte, milk is important. And something to brew your coffee with. First thing you could do is to prepare your stove and get the coffee brewing. That'll take the longest time in this process. So whatever stove you have, you can set it up and get your brewing mechanism ready as well. I have a mocha pot, which I'll show you in just a little bit. So I'm going to set that aside. This is my mocha pot that I generally use for brewing coffee. You put the water in the bottom, your ground beans in here, and screw it on top. It's better not to put cold water in here because it's going to take longer to brew. So I have a thermos that I brought. It'll speed up the process a little bit, save you a little bit of gas as well on your camp stove. So step one, pour the water into this receptacle up to the valve line. Step two, you want to put your beans in. And I've got some freshly ground beans that I ground just before I came up here. Screw the top on, like this. So I have my stove here. Now you'll notice that this mocha pot doesn't really fit very well on top of the stove. So that's why you bring one of these barbecue nets and you stick it on top. Leave it open when you brew. And the key to making a good pot is, make sure that you have a secure connection. When you put hot water in here, it does get very, very hot, so you might want to grab a towel. Now have this thing on the lowest heat possible. Basically, the lower the heat, the better. If you have the heat up too high, it'll burn the beans and it'll come splashing out, which is not what you want when you brew coffee in a mocha pot. While the coffee is brewing, I'll show you what else I brought. So to make a latte, you do need milk. I have frozen milk, which I've frozen in my Nalgene bottle. The beauty of this is I can pour this hot coffee straight into here and it will melt the milk and hopefully keep the drink nice and cold. There we go. Now you can see it coming out really nice and slowly. This is like perfect. If it's coming out splashing, then you know it's way too strong, but this is like exactly how you want it to come out. Just the perfect amount of heat. Now the hard part is if you put it too low, your stove's gonna cut off, and you put it too hot, it's gonna burn. Actually, I'm gonna cut that down a little bit. This might be coming out a little bit too strong. This is a little bit stronger than you want it to come out, so this, yeah. Oh, shoot. Yeah, see, that's coming out way too strong now. So there's not really much I can do except cut it off. But it's pretty much done. And be careful not to spill it. This metal thing gets extremely hot, but you can touch the top and you can touch the sides pretty easy without too much trouble. Now comes the tricky part. You've got to pour this hot coffee into this frozen Nalgene bottle without spilling it and without burning yourself. So let's see how this goes. Unscrew the top. Now rule one, probably when you pour something, and I learned this the hard way, if you're pouring a hot drink into a cup or a mug, never hold this, because if it spills or this thing falls out, you're gonna burn your hand. So I'm actually gonna put this on the ground the safe way. Put your finger on top as you pour it in. So there you go, everything's safe. Now comes the fun part. Simply close your Nalgene bottle and shake. So hopefully that hot coffee will melt the rest of the milk, and you'll be able to enjoy a nice, cool, refreshing, iced mountain latte in the mountains of Japan, or wherever you happen to be watching today. Best thing to do, fill up the milk the night before. You want to go on your hike, put it in the freezer. I filled it about halfway up, the Nalgene bottle. Don't fill it up too tall because you want to leave room for your coffee. And then after you shake it a while, the milk will melt. And now this thing is nice and foamy and cool, nice and refreshing on my body. I'll try not to get any dirt on me like the last video. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now comes the moment of truth, the taste test. Did I burn these beans or not? Smells good. Let's see if the milk is completely melted. Okay, so here we go. Oh my goodness. Perfection. Coffee is pretty good. It's not burned, which is good. And the milk is mostly thawed, although still a bit in here. Well, if you're hiking on a hot day, you could put it in the sun and it would melt, or you can just enjoy it slowly. I'm gonna enjoy this coffee with a little snack that I brought, but I brought a chocolate bar. I'm gonna sit over here and enjoy the view of my neighborhood. So the thing you have to watch out for is after you brew, this thing stays hot for quite a long time. So you need a way to cool it off. You can pour some water on it if you have excess water, or you can just let it cool naturally. But basically what you want to do is once it cools down enough, you want to unscrew this. So when it cools off enough, you can unscrew it, stow it away, and discard the coffee beans. And then when this neck cools off enough, you can put it in your bag and you can unscrew this stuff and get all packed up. Hopefully by the time you've enjoyed your coffee and your chocolate, this thing is cool enough anyway. Well, that's it for another episode of Tozan Eats. As usual, when you're in the mountains of Japan, safe hiking, safe eating, and safe brewing. Thanks for watching.